We got Natalie in the building, and we got Hendrik too.
The recording's finally working.
We started.
We started. A little freestyle. It's how you do it. Well, good morning to both of you, Hendrik and Styles. Welcome back to COPA.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, COPA.
We're so happy to have you both back, and we're ready to listen about both of your musical backgrounds and your story, because to be quite honest, your session on Thursday was so full and so active. You actually went so over time. I didn't even have a chance to talk to you. I was so excited, So it was really great to see that enthusiasm come through the students, and your presence there. Really, you could see a change in them. They were much more active. So we just want to channel that energy and find out about you guys.
Yeah.
So both coming back now, I think just for our sake, could you please introduce both of yourselves and your backgrounds and your musical persona?
Hello, hi, I'm Styles and I make good music. I'm kidding. I do make good music, but I'm Styles. I make interesting music, from pop to hip-hop to rap to EDM, and I'm from Durban, and yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and I'm Hendrik. I'm a music producer. I have worked with Styles for the last 3 years. I work with other people as well, but Styles is my boy. So yeah, I mean, I just do what I love doing most, which is making music, and yeah, the rest is history.
Your working dynamic, how did it get established, and how do you find the longevity for your relationship going in terms of creativity, in terms of producing and working together to collaborate?
So I first met Hendrik through a good friend of mine who's a radio DJ. He introduced me to a really cool remix that Hendrik had produced or remixed, and I was very interested in that sound, and I followed him on social media, and I slid into his DMs. So I slid into his DMs and said, "Hey, what's up, man? My name is Styles. I make music as well, and I like your sound, and it'd be cool to work in the near future." Which he responded to that email immediately. To that message immediately, and it wasn't an instant thing when it came to making the music. There was a bit of a
time delay between it.
Yeah, 100%.
I had other things to finish at the time.
100%. So he had much bigger things that he needed to finish, and then he approached me unexpectedly. I got an email from him to say, "Here's his beats, and let's do something." And that's when we created a song called Trees, which was our first release together as individual artists, and obviously as a producer to my sound. And from there, I fell in love with the sound, and I then said to him, "I would love for you to produce my first national project, whether it be an EP, a mixtape, or an album." And ever since then, we've just had that relationship. So as you all might know now, Hendrik is now become an artist, not just a producer. So he's a vocalist as well, and so I assist him as well with writing music, songwriting and stuff like that as well. And that's pretty much where we're at the moment. And yeah,
it's pretty dope the way we met and everything, because we were working together for a good year and a half before we actually met in person, which was crazy. And then obviously it's very difficult to, you don't really know what to expect from an artist if you don't really know them face to face. And when I met him, I was completely blown away by his confidence and his persona, and I thought, wow, this guy is just so easy to brand as an individual, and also just so talented, which is the perfect duo for him to become an artist that is up there with all the other bigger artists. So from there I just thought, you know what, let's carry on this working relationship. And I mean, now he's been in Durban for the last 2 weeks or so, or just over 2 weeks, and we've been working on music together, and our working dynamic has just been absolutely crazy. Definitely something that I think both of us want to carry on in the future. And yeah, I mean, we're actually busy working on our first collaborative, I wouldn't say duo, but collaborative project with both of our names as artists on the project, which is going to be super dope, and hopefully it's going to drop, I wouldn't say soon, but rather sooner than later.
100%. 100%. So yeah,
future's looking bright for us. Hopefully.
That's exactly why I got my shade.
Just is planning ahead here. Well, that's brilliant, and it's so nice to see that your dynamic, collaborative, creative relationship fosters both elements. The creative side that's coming up from you now, and your side where you're able to channel it through his producing. That's really fantastic. One of the main key elements you guys spoke about and suggested for the students, the best piece of advice was networking. You highlighted networking so much. And the other minor bit was that they didn't actually have to have expensive or excessively spent equipment. So that was a really nice piece.
Let's start with networking. Networking is very important because if you're trying to sell your brand, you've got to sell your brand to people that understand you and understand what you do. And the minute you introduce yourself to people like that, they will immediately take that and say, all right, this is what Hendrik does. This is Hendrik's brand. This is the sort of sound that he does. I'm going to either listen to it or I'm going to share it with other people. So networking, in other words, if there's an event, like even if it's a small event happening in Durban, there's a place called the Bat Center. There's a lot of hip hop that happens there as well. I'm going to use hip hop as an example because that's what I grew up in. If there's a small hip hop event happening, I encourage these young people and these upcoming artists to go there because that's where you're going to meet people who think almost like you. You need to be in a space where people can be the same, where you have producers and rappers all in one room or singers, and you say, this is what I do. Can I showcase my talent to you? And you can make that decision whether you want it to further or not. So that's huge, and I think that's how I met Hendrik. I was interested in his sound, and I knew the only way I can get through to him is by going into social media and following his stuff, listening to his other stuff, and coming to that conclusion to say, I would really like to work at this guy. For me, my intention, this is honestly coming out now, my intention was for him to produce a song for me. It ended up being more of a relationship now. It was like, hey, how you doing? How's your mental health? How's this? How's that? That relationship has become so strong that when we step into the studio now, it's crazy how we just create things.
It's like best friends, basically.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We're not trying to sugarcoat this interview. What we're saying is that it started off as me approaching him
for a beat,
and him saying, I'm interested in your sound, but I'd like to get to know you. I'm not going to just give you a beat just like that.
100%.
And voila.
There needs to be a working relationship, and then from that working relationship, perhaps a friendship can form and all the rest. And I think we've built a very strong friendship over the years.